Patuloy na tumataas ang kaso ng mga batang biktima ng bullying. Ayon sa Council for the Welfare of Children, tinututukan naman ng Department of Education ang mga kaso nito sa mga paaralan na itinuturing ng isang mental health problem. Nagpapatrol, Joyce Balancio.
Siyempre bilang magulang, masakit sa kalooban ko noon. Bakit? Ano ba yung mali sa anak ko?
Hindi na napigilang maluha ng nanay na si Elias Conchita tuwing inaalala ang pambubuli sa kanyang anak na grade 9 student sa isang pampublikong paaralan. Aniya, halos taong-taong nakararanas ng pananakit at pangungutya ang kanyang anak dahil maliit ito kumpara sa kanyang mga kaklase.
Palagi siyang binabatukan o kaya kinakalabit. So, pinabayaan na lang din yan hanggang dumating sa punto na binato siya ng upuan.
Tinutugunan naman anya ng paaralan ang kanilang reklamo pero aniya, hindi natitigil ang bullying sa kanyang anak. Ayon sa Council for the Welfare of Children o CWC, tumataas ang iba't ibang kaso ng bullying sa bansa.
Starting 2015, based on the National Baseline Study on Violence Against Children conducted by the Council for the Welfare and UNICEF, 80% po ng Filipino children aged 13 to 24 ang naka-experience ng mga forms of violence, and whether this is in their homes, school, and community. Kasama po dito yung peer violence.
Sa pag-aaral din ng CWC, 2 sa bawat 5 batang Pilipino ay naging biktima na ng cyberbullying. Ayon sa isang guidance counselor, maaaring biktima rin ang mga nambubuli.
Bawa sa bahay, sa kapitbahay mismo or sa school mismo, kung hindi ito naagapan o nabigyan ng tulong through counseling, maaring ito ay humantong dun sa punto na, yun nga, sila naman yung gumagawa ng bullying act. Yung online platform, yung nagiging parang pinagkakaabalahan nila na in any way, kumbaga, sila doon, anonymous sila doon.
Kung hindi naman maagapan ang mga insidente ng bullying, maaring may malaking epekto ito sa pag-iisip ng biktima.
Bumababa yung kanilang self-esteem, nawawala na sila ng gana pumasok sa school, ayaw na nilang pumasok sa school, or yung grades nila na dati na okay, mataas naman, aktibo, biglang parang bumaba yung performance nila. And worst case scenario, pag ito ay hindi na-address, it can lead to a serious mental disorder.
Dahil sa mga naitatalang kaso, naglunsad ang Department of Education noong 2022 ng Learners Telesafe Contact Center Helpline mula November 2022 hanggang January 11, 2024. Halos 200 kaso na ng bullying ang naisumbong sa helpline. Binabalangkas na rin ng DepEd ang isang mental health program katuwang ang Department of Health.
Pinapalakas natin yung ating mga tinatawag na Child Protection Committees sa mga paaralan. Yung reporting system, we are continuously improving it.
Nakikipag-ugnay naman sa DILG ang CWC para mapalakas ang local councils for the protection of children sa mga barangay. Para sa mga nais humingi ng tulong kaugnay ng bullying, maaring tumawag sa Makabata Helpline ng CWC at sa DepEd Learners Rights and Protection Office. Joyce Balancio, ABS-CBN News.
And blessed be God forever. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Behind the Screen. I am Mary Rochelle Bilhira, and this podcast I'll be talking about one of the most serious problems in our digital cyberbullying. We all know how powerful social media is. It connects us to friends, helps us learn new things, and allows us to express ourselves. But behind those benefits, social media also hides dangers. One of the most common and painful of these dangers is cyberbullying. In this episode, I'll be define what cyberbullying is, share real-life cases and statistics, explain how it affects people, and finally, suggest practical solution for preventing it. So stay with me until the end because this is a topic that affects all of us. Cyberbullying happens when someone uses social media, messaging apps, or any platform to hurt, threaten, or embarrass another person. Unlike traditional bullying that happens in person, cyberbullying can happen anytime, day or night. And it can spread quickly because of how fast things go viral online. Imagine posting a simple picture and within hours, it's filled with cruel comments or edited into a meme to embarrass you. That is a painful reality of cyberbullying. According to a study by UNICEF, 1 in 3 young people across 30 countries said they have been victims of online bullying. That is a huge number, and it shows how widespread the problem is. What makes cyberbullying even scarier is that the bullying doesn't just stay between two people. One negative post can be shared, screenshot, and spread to hundreds or even thousands of others in minutes. Once it's online, it is almost impossible to erase completely. To show how serious this issue can get, let us look at a real-life case. In the United Kingdom, a 16 years old girl took her own life after facing constant harassment online. She received endless hateful messages, and sadly, the emotional weight was too much for her. Stories like these are heartbreaking, and they remind us that words online may seem small, but their impact can be life-changing. Cyberbullying doesn't just hurt feelings. It can deeply damage a person's mental health. Victims often suffer from anxiety, stress, depression, and some lose confidence and withdraw from friends and family. Others struggle to concentrate in school, skip classes, or even drop out. What is worse is that many victims don't speak up. They stay silent because they fear no one believes them or that speaking up will only make things that worse. This silence makes cyberbullying even more dangerous. Why does cyberbullying happen? Sometimes it is strangers hiding behind fake accounts. Other times it is people we know, classmates, peers, or even supposed friends. Social media can give bully a sense of power and anonymity. They think they can say or do anything online without facing consequences. But here is the important part. Cyberbullying can be prevented, and we all have a role to play. First, schools should strengthen anti-bullying programs and encourage students to report cases without fear. Teachers and administrators must listen and take action when students speak up. Second, parents should guide their children on how to use social media responsibly. Open communication between parents and kids is one of the most strongest defenses against online abuse. And third, we, the users, must take responsibility. Always think before you post or comment. Ask yourself, why would I say this to someone face to face? If the answer is no, then don't post it. We should also report abusive accounts and content. Social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok have reporting tools. Using them helps stop bullies from spreading more harm. Finally, we can promote what I like to call digital kindness. If we see someone bullied online, instead of ignoring it, we can leave positive comments, send supportive messages, or simply remind them that they are not alone. Imagine if social media was filled with encouragement instead of hate. One kind comment can cancel out dozens of negative ones. Together, small actions can create big chances. As we've seen, cyberbullying is not just an online issue. It is a real problem that affects mental health, relationships, and even lives. So, here is my challenge to you. The next time you are on social media, use your words to build, not to break. Post content that uplifts others instead of tearing them down. Remember, your words matter, whether you type them or say them. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Behind the Screen. I am Mary Rochelle Bilhira, and I hope this podcast inspires you to make social media a softer and kinder space. Until next time, stay safe, stay kind, and remember, you can be the reason someone smiles today.
If you or someone you know is being bullied, do not be afraid to reach out. Remember that you are not alone.
We all have the power to stop cyberbullying. Stand up and speak out and be kind. Together we can make the internet a safer place.